Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Patience. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys how I made this beautiful off-shoulder bustier ruffle tulle gown. Before we get started, kindly click the subscribe button. If you have done that, let's get into it. I'll be using this tulle. It is 20 yards, and I'll also be using a satin fabric. This is 3 yards, and I'll also be using a lining. Here is my off-shoulder bustier pattern. I have a video on how to draft this. I'll put the link on the description box. So I'll be using this to cut out my fabric. This is the front piece, and this is the back piece. So I'll be using this to cut out on the lining. As you can see, I've added my sewing allowances round. I added ½ inch round and 1 inch on the side seam. This is on the lining, and I also ironed a hairstay on it. This is the back piece. I added ½ inch round, 1 inch for the side seam and 1 inch for zipper allowance. This is the back piece on the lining. Of course, I'll cut out the midpoint for my zipper allowance. This is the back piece of the satin fabric. I'll also divide the midpoint for my zipper allowance, and this is the front piece. I ironed about 3 layers of hairstay because I'll not be using a wadding. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to place the right sides this way, starting from the hem. I will sew by ½ inch this way, and I'll do the same thing here. I've done that. After sewing, I used my tailor's ham to iron open, trim and notched, and I've done the same thing on the lining. So what I'm going to do is to place the right sides this way, aligning the midpoint, and I'll pin it down. Also align this stitched area, pin it down, and I'll be sewing on the neckline by ½ inch or ¼ inch. I've done that. After sewing, I turned it over to the right side, ironed properly. This is what it looks like. Also on the back piece, I'll be joining the neckline. After doing that, I'll place the right sides together separately on the lining and the fabric. So I'll be placing the right sides this way, as you can see, separately on the lining and the fabric, and I'll join the side seam. So I'll join the neckline, join the side seam before I open the zipper area. I've done that. I've joined the side seam separately on the fabric and the lining, as you can see, and also the neckline. After stitching, I notched and iron. This is how neat it came out. Now I'll be cutting out the sleeve. So on the drafting video, I also cut out the sleeve. Like I said, I'll put the link on the description box. I've gone ahead to do that. So this is the sleeve. It is a very short sleeve. The length is 6 inches after hemming. I actually cut out 7 inches and I used 1 inch to hem. Also on the upper part, I added 1 inch and I used the 1 inch to hem. Now I'll be attaching the sleeve to the dress. I'll align the side seams and sew by ½ inch. I have done that. I've attached the sleeve, and this is what it looks like. Moving on, I'll be marking out some guidelines on the right side of the fabric for my gathers. From the neckline here, that is on the sweetheart neckline, I'll measure what I have to the hem. What I have here is 9.5 inches. I'm going to divide this 9.5 inches by 3 for the 3 layers of gathers I'll be making. So I'll mark 3 inches, 6 inches. I'll just leave the ½ inch. Okay, so I'm marking this point on the midpoint of the front piece. As you can see, I'll be making like a V shape from this midpoint. Okay, so after doing that, I'll also measure what I have on the sleeve. So what I have on the sleeve here is 6 inches. I'll also divide the 6 inches by 3 for my 3 layers of ruffle. This is 2, 4, 6. The first layer is going to be here, second layer and the third layer. Also on the front piece, the first layer is going to be on the neckline, second layer and the third layer. On the back piece, I'll measure what I have also, and I'll divide by 3. Now I am going to connect each point, forming like a V shape, as you can see me do. So I'm connecting from the midpoint of the front piece to the sleeve down to the back piece. I'll do the same on the third layer. Connect to the sleeve and connect it to the back piece. So I'll be doing the same thing on the other half. Divide the sleeve by 3 and also the back piece and make a V shape, connecting it this way. So just make sure the space between each layer is 3 inches. Like I said, the first layer is going to be on the neckline, the second layer and the third layer. So now to cut out the ruffle, I am going to measure each guideline. As you can see, I measured from the back around the sleeve to the midpoint of the front piece. I'm just going to divide that by 2 for my ruffle. So I'll go ahead and measure each guideline. To cut out the tulle, what I did was I folded 4 yards of tulle. I folded it into 2, into 4, into 6, into 8 and into 10. Okay, after folding, I marked a starting line. I cut out 6 inches for the length of the tulle, and after marking the starting line, I started marking my 6 inches for the length of the tulle and cut it out. So that's the easiest way to cut out the tulle. You can fold 3 yards if the 5 yards is too much. You know, working with tulle can be very difficult. This way I cut out 6 inches length and 5 yards width. Okay, so I'll be joining 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of the tulle together. I have 5 yards here, so I'll be joining these 4 pieces and I'll use the longest stitch on my sewing machine to make double gather stitch all through on 1/2 inch all through these 5 yards. I've done that. I've made my double gathered stitch. So what I did was I trimmed on top just to have a neat gathers. Okay, so after trimming on top, I also trimmed the hem. Like I said, working with tulle can be very difficult, so if you do not trim it this way and you attach it, you will not have an equal length of ruffle. So after trimming, I have 5.5 inches here, which is okay, and the width is 5 yards like I said. So the next thing I'm going to do is to pick both ends of the thread and make my gathers. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I made extra 2 just in case it is not enough. I'll just place both gathers this way and I'll join by 1/2 inch just in case. After marking my guidelines, As you can see, it is 3 inches space. So this is the third layer, the second layer, and the first layer is going to be on the neckline. So attach my ruffle. I am going to fold the edge this way, starting from 1 inch from the zipper allowance. I'll start attaching the ruffle from the back piece around the sleeve down to the front piece and the other sleeve and the back piece, just like this. And the first layer I am going to be attaching right on the neckline. Now I have attached the third and second layer, and this is what it is looking like. As you can see, the V shape. I followed the guideline. Okay, as you can see, I sewed around the sleeve down to the back piece, and I stopped at the 1 inch for zipper allowance. If you're wondering how the inside is looking like, this is it. Okay, now I'll be attaching the first layer. I'll fold the edge, starting from the 1 inch for zipper allowance. I'll sew by 1/2 inch. I'll pull the gathers above the neckline a bit and sew by 1/2 inch. I've done that. I've attached the first layer, and this is what it looks like. So I decided to make this an off-shoulder bustier dress so that I can wear it without a bra for a more structured look. So you can decide to just make a normal off-shoulder dress. For the lower part of the dress, I'll be using this satin fabric. The width is my waist circumference times 2, and the length is 48.5 inches. I'll be using 1 inch to hem and 1/2 inch to join the upper part of the dress. Now I'll be making double gather stitch all through, and for the tulle I'll be using 10 yards for the lower part of the dress. So I divided the 10 yards into 2, that is 5 yards each. I'll be joining both together this way, and I'll also make a double gather stitch on 1/2 inch all through. I've done that. I left 1 inch for my zipper allowance. I'll pick both ends of the thread and make my gathers, and I'll ensure the gathers is up to my waist circumference. So this is up to my waist circumference. I'll do the same thing on the satin fabric. I left 1 inch on both sides for zipper allowance. So this is the right side of the satin. I'll be placing the tulle on top this way. I'll align the zipper allowance, and I'll be joining by 1/2 inch. I've done that. I've joined the satin and the tulle by 1/2 inch, and this is what it looks like. Now I'll be placing the right sides this way, and I'll be joining by 1 inch, starting from the tulle. So the tulle is longer than the satin fabric. The tulle is about 63 inches. So I've joined it, and I stopped at where my zipper will stop. So it was difficult to join the zipper allowance. So what I did was I joined the tulle and the satin fabric first by 1/2 inch, as you can see, separately, before joining the 1 inch for zipper allowance. So this is how it came out. Now I'll be attaching the upper part of the dress. I'll align the zipper allowance. So I'll just be attaching it that way without joining the lining to lining and fabric to fabric. I'll just attach the lining and the fabric together this way, and I'll sew by 1/2 inch round. I've done that, and this is what it looks like. I'm just going to serge round the waist, okay, and this is how the front is looking like. The last thing I am going to do now is to attach the zipper. I'm going to place the right side of the zipper on the sewing allowance as the 1 inch, and I'll attach my zipper. I've done that. This is how it came out. So what I'll do is I'll serge both edge of the zipper allowance down to the hem. So the final thing I did was I loosed the gathers on the edge of the tool close to the zipper, and I stitch it back. I hand stitch it back so that it can be very close to the zipper. That way you will not know that there's a zipper at the back of the dress. So guys, this dress came out really beautiful and lightweight, but I think it is too full. So you can use about 15 yards of tulle. That will be fine, except you want it this full. Finally, if you have not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe already so you don't miss out on awesome tutorials like this. If this was helpful, kindly give this video a thumbs up, click on the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to be updated when I upload a new video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.